baby.
Hello and welcome back everybody to another round of the Virtual Drift Championship, now powered by Next Level Racing, sponsored by TireSnacks.com and Grip Royal. My name is Craig, and with me as always is Tanner. What's going on, dude?
What is happening, Craig? Round 2, and it's Riga. Oh man, I'm so excited for this amazing event we have today.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun coming back to this, of course, famous track. One of the most popular tracks for drifting on Assetto Corsa. So all the drivers have tons of experience on this track. The layout changed just ever so slightly, with that last wall being extended out by a couple of K-rails to keep those cars on the track after crossing that finish line. We'll go to the line map real quick for qualifying and later on today for top 32 battles. And it goes from left to right. So big entry there with a small decel zone, and then back on throttle for the majority of the course. And they'll come down into clip 1 for your first outside zone, transition across for clip 2, and down into clip 3 for your one and only inside clip, back out to clip 4 for the next outside zone, and then sweeping all the way across that track and getting into that little pocket up there for clip 5. And then another small decel zone before setting into that wall ride that of course has been extended just ever so slightly. If we pull it up this way, we get a little better reference of that overhead view there. We should be about ready to send the first cars here.
I think we're still waiting for them to pull up to the line, but while we wait for them, we could always just talk a little bit more about this track. I mean, one thing I know the judges really look for is not using that left foot brake too much. Don't want to slow yourself down. Want to make sure you're staying on throttle and not decelling where you shouldn't be. That's going to be a big key here and a lot of deciding factors for a lot of these qualifying runs.
Here we go, first run of the day. Vicaris Salukas, his small 1 Series BMW, tossing that thing in on that outside line and filling that first outside zone. Good transition across too, all the way out to that rumble strip. And judges want to see those drivers off of those rumble strips, not getting up on them. Ooh, just a little bit there, but holds it together, taps the wall. Look at there, all the way on the outside and across that finish line for his first run of the day.
Very solid first run. That's a way to start round 2 off.
And an 83 on the board for run 1.
You know, I said it before the event that the qualifying here, you gotta score really high. Looking at round 1, the competition there, and now into round 2 as we have Pontus Jakobsen doing his entry and beautiful line around that outside line, transitioning nice and quick through that second outer zone, getting that inside clip, grabbing the next outer, another great transition, just grazing those rumble strips, trying to get it deep onto the wall as we hear that rotary smashing off the limiter and finishing out the first run for Pontus.
Yeah, not too bad at all for Pontus there. Wait and see what the score is going to be. Hard to guess. Another one up into the 80s quickly. There it is, 86.3 for Pontus Jakobsen. And on to Kevin Stump, one of the coolest cars in the field, I think. At 400Z, throwing that thing in there and filling that first outside zone. Smooth transition across, and he is cooking through this course. Another nice transition all the way out there into that outside zone. And nice set into the wall as well. Leaves it just a little bit there. Small use of that left foot brake to try and get back out there, and he does across that finish line for a pretty strong run. And 85.7 for Kevin Stump's first run of the day.
These qualifying scores are going to be high today, so these drivers really got to put it down. As we have Choir Bentley Mauricia now in a Supra this year, ready to throw it down. Initiates in, goes really far to that in. He's going to miss out on outer zone and get the transition done though for outer zone 2 and that inside clip, not going as deep as he could in the next outer zone and missing out on the other outer zone. But Bob puts it up onto the wall and holds it around the wall, but he's definitely going to have to clean up that run on his second run.
Yeah, some line deductions there from that run. Coming up short on a couple of those outside zones, and there it is, 72 on the board for Choir Bentley Mauricia. We're on to Mark Pretty, another Super right behind him. Here's Mark throwing his 80 Super in. Almost a little late on that transition, but he gets it. Holds it together, grabs the inside clip, and filling those outside zones. Setting up nicely for the wall, trying to stay out there. And he finishes out his first run. So not too shabby from Mark there.
Now, with Mark being a new driver to the Virtual Drift Championship, he's let's hope for a good score from him.
And at 87.3.
That is a very good score for his first run as we move over to Alexander Element, rocking this Ferrari as he initiates in, putting it on that yellow line, coming through outer zone 1, transitioning into 2. Good angle as he grabs that inside clip. Grabs the next outer zone nicely and has a nice transition into the next one. Right up against the wall for the wall ride, leaving not a lot of room. Ooh, he's right up on it. A very good job from Alexander Element as well in his first run.
Yeah, looking really smooth in the Ferrari there. I imagine a pretty decent score for Element on the board here. And look at there, 88.3 for Alexander Element, so currently the best run on the board. On to Mustafa. Mustafa going deep last round at Tokan Sipa. Doing really well in qualifying. And he's looking good here as well. Nicely around the inside clip. Remember, bumpers want to get around those inside clips, and then tires on the lines, and look at there, putting it directly on the line. Sparks on the wall as he sets in, and no corrections. Look at there, Mustafa going after it again in qualifying.
Mustafa looks like he's been here for years.
And a 91.3 for Mustafa.
Wow, what a run for Mustafa. Let's see if Shoma here can follow that up as we come to the final of the first runs of this first group for qualifying. Getting the initiation in outer zone 1 done. Now through the inside clip. Little correction there as he comes into outer zone 4. Transitions into 5, just grazing those rumble strips. And now getting up onto that wall ride. Ooh, nicking off of it just a little bit. Trying to hold it together, and he does very nicely to the end of his run.
Yeah, wow, Shoma throwing down on his first run as well. This group coming out strong. Super smooth from him there. One of the best qualifying runs I think I've seen from him. 86.3 on the board. With that, we've got our top 8 there up in that top left-hand corner. See Mustafa with that 91.3, but let's see what Vickers can do here in his 1 Series Beamer. Nice transition for outside 2 and around that inner clip. Really good line here. A little hesitant through that transition there and picking up throttle. But overall smooth here through this run. Trying to better that 83, and he might just do it there.
That's going to be very close, and sadly, I think even with an 83, that's going to be looking at some danger zones for sure.
Ooh, an 83.7, so just does better that score. I think with that, you know, a little hesitation on that transition is what got him there.
Yeah, for sure. As we move over to Pontus, sitting on that 86.3 on his last run of qualifying. Huge initiation as he comes through outer zone 1, transitions into outer zone 2, looking good, but taking out that front pylon with the front bumper as he comes through the inner clip, transitioning now into clip 5, grazing that rumble strip, makes the final transition. Could have been a little deeper on the wall, but keeps with it and just gnashing the limiter on that rotary engine.
Yeah, trying to blow the thing up.
Destroying it.
Let's see, again, trying to better that 86.3 and does come up just a little shy, 83.3. And we're on to Kevin Stump's second run. Again, in that 400C, looking awesome, sounding good as well. And tossing that car in, comes up a little shy of that yellow line. The judges want to see him ride that thing all the way down, but has cleaned up the run since. Comes up a little short for clip 5 in that outside zone and leaves a little bit of room on the wall as he sets in, but look at there, working all the way back out there and finishing out the run strong. Matches it with an 85.7.
I don't see that too often. Matching his first qualifying run to his second, as we have Pyre Bentley Mauricia sitting on that 72. He definitely has to improve this. Good initiation, gets deeper into outer zone 1. Hopefully he finds his groove for the rest of this course as he comes through outer zone 4 and makes that transition into 5. Not as deep as he could be into 5. Kind of hesitant on everything as he almost goes too hard into the transition for the final clip, but makes it through. And let's see if that's enough to improve that 72.
Yeah, it looks like he bounced off that wall just a little bit as he set in there. And it does, 77.3. We'll just have to wait and see if that's going to be enough to get into top 32. As, yeah, last round was 87.3, I believe, which is what Mark Pretty currently has here. Throws in his super, comes up shy of outside 1. And again, transition's almost late, like in the middle of outside zone 2, but he gets it together here, filling those next ones. And then setting up nicely for the wall. Great finish to his second run.
And an 86.3 there, so coming just shy of his first run scores. We move over to Alexander Element sitting on that 88.3. Good initiation, following that yellow line all the way through outer zone 1. Little hesitant on the transition, taking out the front, the clip on the front clip on his front bumper as he makes the transition into 5 and transitions one last time, bouncing off the wall, just being a little too aggressive there in that final outer zone, but he finishes out his run.
Yeah, and big deductions there on that score of 78 for Alexander's second run, but he's still sitting on an 88.3, and we're on to Mustafa. Whoa, throwing that car in big time. Does go over that yellow line, though, and makes a huge transition. Filling that next outside zone and into 5, up onto the curb, but he hangs on to it Oh, and he does come up short, makes a big correction here. And there he goes, finishing out run 2. And we imagine that there'll be some deductions there quickly. Yeah, 68.3 for Mustafa, but you know, good for him. For
That was the definition of full send or no send on that run. He just committed. Even when he knew he was making mistakes, it was still commitment. As we have Shoma Takaya now going for his second run. Good initiation through outer zone 1, transitioning nicely and snappy into outer zone 2 and through that inside clip, getting through 4 nice and clean, riding that yellow line and just grazing the bumper, the rumble strips as he comes into that final outer zone with that wall ride, sitting on that 86.3. He's gonna hope to improve.
Yeah, it'll be close there with that second run. And at 87.7, so he certainly does. And we've got 8 drivers down, so Group 1 is done. And Mustafa sitting number 1 again with a 91.3. Alexander Element right behind him with an 88.3. And Shoma Takaya with an 87.7. So we'll take a small break, restart that server, get the next group of drivers in, and we'll be right back with some more qualifying. All right, and we are back with more qualifying here on Bikernieki. And we've got Group 2 ready to go. And again, Mustafa coming out swinging, sitting number 1 right now with a 91.3. We'll see if anybody here in Group 2 can outdo that big score.
I think Mustafa is going to be going after that Rookie of the Year award along with a few other of the new drivers here.
Yeah, absolutely. As well as Darren finishing second last round. 18 out of the top 32 drivers from last round actually made it into the top 32, which is, I think that's the most amount of rookies that we've had qualify in top 32, especially for round one too.
Yeah, exactly. And so many of them just showed the skill and the level and really kind of showed the old guys like, you're gonna have to step it up. There's some new blood here that really know how to drive and can. Yeah, it was a wild event.
Yeah, absolutely. And they showed everybody that they absolutely belong here and are ready to put up a strong fight. Here we go. Jordan El Nasser coming to the line. His awesome Viper. Sounds like he stalled out on him. There he goes.
Those pre-run nerves, they'll get you.
Oh, I can actually already see what is happening with Jordan. It seems as though his handbrake is sort of stuck locked. So I'll have to try and overhear on Discord to see if they'll let him just have a 5-minute. No, they are. Yeah, he's going to miss his first run, take the 0, but he's still got a second run to figure it out. And we're on to Steven Hatcher. Steven always super strong here at Riga. And look at there, throws that RX-7 onto the yellow line, follows it all the way down, grabs the next outside zone, the inner clip, the next outside zone, all the way to the edge as well. Look at, oh no, he does get just a little bit of the wall. Makes a very small correction. Oh, and then right there at the end as well, certainly going for it, Steven Hatcher. That should still be a very strong score for Steven Hatcher to start things out here in Group 2.
I bet the Rotary fans are just excited. They get to hear more Rotary. I know I am. Hearing those Rotary limiters get smashed, it's always a good time.
Absolutely, and still 88 on the board for Steven Hatcher. If he can clean that run up without the wall taps, my word.
And Mustafa will be in trouble, but we'll see what Abdul Al-Shweti can do in this beautiful S15 of his. He initiates in, tries to keep it as close to that yellow line as he can, filling outer zone 1 good. Transitions, very good transition through outer zone 2 and that inside clip. Now coming for the next transition to this outside clip, grazing those rumble strips as he comes into the wall ride, leaving a little bit of a margin, but nothing to shake a stick at as he finishes out his first run of qualifying.
Yeah, that was good as well. $87.3 on the board for Abdul Rahman. Again, that was the cutoff score for top 32 last round. Just waiting on Rahman. Here he comes to the line.
Here we go with Roman Katastrenka, the king of Belarus himself, here at the Virtual Drift Championship, initiating in, grabbing that outer zone 1 and transitioning into 2, grabbing the inside clip, doing a good job here so far. Pretty clean line as he just grazes those rumble strips before making the final transition, putting that wing over the wall. Look at that control as he just nicks it as he comes off of that finish line.
Another solid run here in Group 2. Just small deductions there. 84.7 for Rahman. We're on to Sean O'Dew. His E46. Very similar to what he drives in real life. Maybe not the power and the grip, but still same chassis. And looking okay here. He does come up shallow for that outside zone 1, but he's getting it together here for the... Whoa, and as I say that, goes really wide. Drops 2 tires there, shuts the run down. And he will take that 0.04, his first run of qualifying. But that is okay. Still got another run up his sleeve. And we'll go on to Oliver Blythe.
Yeah, Oliver in this crazy looking S15. Getting ready to put down his first run of qualifying. Oh, it's an S14.5. My apologies. He initiates in, following that yellow line, filling outer zone 1, transitions, nice and snappy transition through 2 and out inside clip 1. Now another really quick transition, huge fireball out the back as he transitions again for the wall ride, but goes hard into the wall and has to recorrect and get back into drift. So we'll see if they'll determine that as a 0 or give him points on the board.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's going to be a 0. Big reinitiation there. In his kooky S14. It's just an S14. It looks fantastic. As we go on to Lukasz Tasiemski. And looking good here in the 1 series. Filling that first outside zone. Nice transition across. Good line here. Down into clip 4 and into 5. Goes a little wide. Drops 2 tires up onto that rumble strip and a little bit over as well. But he hangs on to it and keeps it going. And I believe he'll still get some points on the board there for that run. Of course, with some deductions there, and 83.3 for Lukasz.
And now someone's sitting on a very high pedestal right now. Our winner of the last round, Erikas Jurkas, sending it in for his first run of qualifying here. Following that yellow line, dropping a little bit of tire as he transitions into outer zone 2, grabs that inside clip beautifully. Lock to lock here, hopefully. He does do it, just grazing the rumble strips. One last transition for Erikas. He's looking good out there, leaving a little bit of room, but always got to leave that little bit of caution on your first qualifying run.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, overall smooth, though, as always, from Erikas. As you said, coming off that win. Wait and see the score there. 87.3. You see all of those 87.3s there. 3 of them right in a row. 5, 6, and 7. And here's Jordan. He was able to figure out that handbrake. Get it situated. Ooh, maybe not. Seems to be having issues with that entry there. I almost wonder if he just disconnected the handbrake altogether and is sending it without one, trying to get into the top 32. Just coming up shy of these outside zones. There he is across that finish line.
And it's 74 there for Jordan, so hopefully that'll be enough for him. But looking at these scores so far, I don't think it will be. But only time will tell, as we have Stephen Hatcher sitting on that 88, fellow Canadian, and ripping through this course, demolishing the limiter of that rotary as he transitions into outer zone 5. And now for the final wall ride, looking good, putting it nice on the wall, holding that angle. Finishing out his second run of qualifying.
Holy moly.
Woo! A little fireball at the end.
After it. And the little wall tap as well. I mean, just barely a small correction. Not even, just really a bump off the wall and kept it going. And a 92.7 on the board for Stephen Hatcher, and he is now that #1 position as we move along to Al Shetwi and throwing his S15 in, looking good here in turn 1, fills that first outside zone and grabs the next as well. Good line around that inside clip and down into the next outside zone. Overall, very smooth run as he sets into the wall, scraping it just a little bit and keeps it going. Another strong run right after Stephen Hatcher as well. Very good follow-up for Al Shetwi here, and let's see what that score is going to be at 89, so just shy of that 90, but overall solid run.
Very solid. That transition into the wall ride, I thought he was going to hit that wall, and he just stuck the back bumper on it and went. So we have Rahman coming up now for his second run, sitting on an 84.7. Good initiation, leaving outer zone 1 a little early. Looks like, yeah, it might have been a straighten, but he stays with it. and keeps drifting as we see him transition into that second to last outer zone. Now onto the wall ride. He's keeping his line good, starting to add that angle by the end of it, and clears out his second run. But will it beat that 84.7?
Yeah, it'll be close there. I mean, overall, pretty smooth. Didn't really get that big Ferrari around that inside clip. And he matches it once again with an 84.7. And on to Sean O'Dew. Needs to put a score down here. So pressure is on. He throws the car in, comes up a little bit shy of that yellow line, but maybe playing it a little bit safe here, trying to get some points on the board. And he's doing just that so far. Oh, and full 90 through clip 5. He holds it together, does go up onto the curb just a little bit there. And there he goes across that finish line.
And that's always scary when you hit the curb like that, because that's going to upset the car, and you're basically, in your view, you're staring right at that next wall, so you just got to hope that it transitions.
Jesus, take the wheel.
There was Sean, and he ended up with a 78.7, so not too bad, but will it be enough as we have the S14 Tuki of Oliver going through the course for his second run, sitting on a 0 as well, so he's got to get some points on the board. He's looking all right so far, though, as we come up to that final wall ride. And this the make or break of the run is this wall ride, as he starts to add on the angle big time as he comes across that finish line.
Man, hammered down through that last turn as well.
That was a very clean run.
And a 91.3 on the board, and squeezing into that third position there in that top 8 as we move on to Ukash once again for his second run here. 83.3, and wants to better that if he wants to have a really good shot at making it into that top 32, and he's looking good here so far. Nice transition, very smooth through this run, and sets into the wall nicely as well. Gets back on throttle. Nice bit of throttle control through it, and finishes out his second run.
And an 89 there for Lukash, so very good run indeed, as we see Erikas going for his final qualifying run and the final qualifying run for Group 2. As we see him just decimating those first 3 zones, clipping points, as he transitions now into outer zone 4 or 5. Now onto the wall ride. Look at this run. He's really giving it everything he has. Coming off of that win, he's going to try and give it his all, which I think he put down here at qualifying today.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to better that 87.3. He might have done that there, and he does. Another 92 on the board, just under Steven Hatcher's 92.7. So he'll move up into that second position. Mustafa down to third, but Oliver right there with him with another 91.3 and a strong top 8 so far. And that's going to do it for 2 groups of qualifying. So again, we'll take another break, load in the next group, and we'll be right back with some more qualifying. All right, we are quickly back, this time with Group 3 of qualifying. And scores have been a little high to start things off here in the first two groups. Steven Hatcher in Group 2, 92.7. Ericos right there with him with a 92. And Mustafa from Group 1 with a 91.3. Here comes Yuna quickly to the line. And apparently everybody else.
I mean, when Chris says get to the line, you get to the line.
They got to the line. I think I'm hearing through Discord that staff needs just a couple of seconds here.
You know, it's still weird to see Yuna not in the biggest car on the grid.
Yeah, and he did really well in that car last season as well. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that he chose a different car and a different chassis. But, you know, if it suits him and he likes it, all for it. Okay, let's see. Let me get from staff what is going on here.
Yeah, a little bit of a delay. That's all right. These things happen.
All right, yep, we're gonna need to take another quick break, restart the server, as one of the data ACDs was a bit wrong on this server, so we'll quickly restart, let Victor Alves into his rightful group, and we'll be right back. All right, we are ready to go. As you see Victor there leaving the line for a practice run. Again, apologies for that delay. Again, if you're just joining us, we are working into Group 3 of qualifying. And scores are high already. Steven Hatcher with that 92.7 on the board. And we're quickly sending Una Warnen. Again, switching cars up this season and now driving this beautiful E46. And tossing that car in. Grabs that first outside zone. And a quick snappy transition as he fires off there. Grabbing that next outside zone and into zone 5. And a good transition for the wall. Leaves it just for a second and then works back out there. And there he goes across that finish line for his first run of the day.
Una's always been great in qualifying, so it'll be good to see the kind of score he gets. And it looks like it's going to be an 87.3 for Una Warren as we move on to the Drift Academy driver of Alan Hines. Huge initiation into that first outer zone, transitions into outer zone 2, grabbing that inside clip nicely. Not a lot of adjustment out of those front wheels as we see him transition into clip 5, going up onto those rumbles though, holding the car together for the wall ride, nice and deep into the wall. Looking great throughout his first qualifying run.
Yeah, as always for Alan Hines, so strong in qualifying and battles as well. Let's see what kind of score pops up there, and a 94 to take the #1 position here. And we're quickly on to Zach O'Sullivan, winning Rookie of the Year last season, and now driving this Supra and throwing that thing into turn 1, grabbing that first outside zone. Good transition across as well, and around that inside clip, deep into zone 3, and filling the next as well, just barely up on to that rumble, and then along the wall, finishing out a super strong run.
Very good run from Zach there, and if I was Alan, I wouldn't want him qualifying close to me, because as we saw the last event, he took out Alan Hines. And a 91.3 for Zach O'Sullivan, so very good job. We'll see what he can do on his second round as we have Victor Alves now. Victor Alves sending it in that S15 of his, transitioning through to outer zone 2, a little too far inside for the inside clip, and that's going to cost him a little bit on outside zone 4, but making it through 5 and one last transition here, putting it on the wall, coming off it just a little bit, but working his way back out there and finishing up his run as well.
Yeah, he absolutely threw that car into clip 5 and held on to it, filled the zone and kept it going. On to Dan Dirks. Unfortunately, we didn't get a score there for Victor, but here's Dan with his run, coming up fairly shy on that first turn there and getting a little bit of that inside clip, but fills the next outside zone. Up onto that rumble strip just a little bit there, and smooth transition across, works out to the wall, gives it a little tap. Ooh, and again, turning into it and keeping it going is Dan Dirks.
A quick update. So Victor Alves with an 89.7. Very good starting run from him. And Dan Dirks coming in with a 78.7. So something he's going to need to improve on his second run. As we have Octavian Chalaroux in his Supra now. And his first run of qualifying. Good initiation, holding that yellow line all the way around. Looked like he dropped a little tire getting an initiation, but that didn't upset him. Through the next 3 clips, making the transition into clip 5. Right up on that rumble strip. Little too high. He's got to watch out for that. But keeping a good proximity away from the wall. Not as deep as some of the other drivers, but a good distance just to make sure he finishes out the run cleanly.
Yeah, not too bad for Octavian. Just going up onto that rumble strip at clip 5, but held on to it nicely as he came down and then still made his transition for the wall and kept things going. So 86.7 for Octavian. We're on to Abdulaziz Al Harbi, a returning driver. Different car this time though, S15. And looking good through turn 1. Makes a nice transition, super snappy as well. Filling that next outside zone. Works up into that pocket of where that yellow line is and grabs the next outside zone as well. Look at there, along the wall, super smooth here. And a strong run from Abdulaziz.
Very strong run from Abdul. All these drivers today are just bringing out everything they have. And it looks like a 90.7 for Abdulaziz, so a strong run indeed. These drivers are really going to have to give it their all, as we have Ethan Pikachu in his BMW. Good initiation, could have been a bit deeper into outer zone 1. Tries to get that transition done, but hits the rumble strips. Makes the inside clip though, as he comes off of 4 and into 5. Looking good, trying to keep that BMW wagon settled through the wall ride and keeps it going to the end. We'll see what kind of score that gets him.
Yeah, even getting that rumble strip after that first transition, he held on to it, kept it going, and made it look fairly smooth. And 84.3, but as we see, all these 90s here just in the top 8. It's going to be a tough one to make it on into top 32 today. And here's Yuna with an 87.3, round 1's cutoff point for top 32. And looking good so far here through his second run. Makes that transition, grabs the next outside zone. And look at there, planting that thing along the wall. Does leave it just a little bit. Little bit of left foot brake to work it back out there. Yep, and makes it just a little tap there before crossing the finish line. So minor deductions coming from this run. It'll be close, yeah, 87 even for that second run.
Now back around to our current points leader, sitting on a 94. Can he improve it? Pro Drift Academy's own Alan Hines initiating in. Good initiation right to lock as he follows that yellow line through outer zone 1. Transition, snappy transition through 2 and that inside clip through 4 and transitioning into 5. Right against those rumble strips, but not going up them. Putting that rear bumper through the wall, riding that wing just above it. Huge angle as he finishes out his second run of qualifying.
Yeah, that'll be
This could
close.
be the highest score we've seen in a while. That was an insane run.
And look at there, a 95.7 for Alan Hines. And he'll, of course, stay up at that number 1 position, but work himself a little higher with that score. And on to Zach. Currently sitting on his 91.3 and looking good so far through turn 1. Makes the transition almost a little late, but grabs the inside clip anyway. And then out to that pocket there, filling the next outside zone and planting it along the wall. Keeps things going, stays super wide out there and across that finish line.
And another huge improvement, Zach O'Sullivan with a 94.7, right behind Alan Hines by 1 whole point, as we have Victor Alves on his second run, sitting on an 89.7 already, getting through outer zone 1, a little shallow, not as much angle as the rest of the drivers, but he's making it look really good as he comes through. Clip 5 there very beautifully, almost mimicking the last 2 runs, and beautiful along that wall as well. We'll see if he improves that 89.7.
And it sure does, 90.7, so improves by just 1 point. But he sticks right there in that 7th position, and on to Dan Dirks, currently sitting on his 78.7. So we definitely want to see him improve that, but comes up really shy for that first outside zone. Takes out that inner clip as well, but good on clip 4 and 5 as well. And a good transition for the wall ride, and he sticks it. Staying out there, stays off of it, and keeps it going to finish out a fairly strong run. So a couple of deductions coming here from that run, but I think it will be better than that 78.7, 83.3, so we'll have to wait and see if that will be enough.
It's going to be such a close cutoff, and we still have one more group to go to even find out what the cutoff's going to be, as we have Octavian Chalarou dropping a tire on initiation, but holding it together, filling all of outer zone 1, transitioning through 2, just grazing the front bumper along that inside clip as he transitions down towards clip 5. Could have been just a tad deeper, but really wall rides coming in to that final outer zone and holding it all the way around. Can it beat his 86.7?
Whoa, Octavian coming into that wall was insane. Super smooth and stayed there the whole time. 87.7 on the board for Octavian. So moves up just a little bit, and we're on to Abdulaziz. Another sitting on that 90.7. Throws that car in, looking really good through turn 1. Super nice transition, but he goes wide for inside clip. He grabs the next outside zone anyway and keeps things going. Smooth transition, and look at there, a bit of sparks from that wall. Staying all the way out there as he crosses that finish line once again. So we'll have to see if that's going to be enough to better the 90.7 with going wide for inside clip. And 84.7 on the board for Abdulaziz.
Just shy, but there were some mistakes as we're on our final run of Group 3. Ethan Pikachu sitting on that 84.3. Nice job into outer zone 1. Gets the transition done for 2 and grabbing the inside clip. Getting through clip 4 nice and clean. A good transition, but up on the rumble strips, dropping 2 tires. Makes the transition into the wall, bounces off it just a little bit as he tries to get that car settled and comes through that finish line.
Yeah, other than going up onto that rumble strip for clip 5, not too bad again from Ethan. I have to see if it will better his current score, and it does fall just shy, 82.3, but a strong top 8 you see up there on the left-hand side of the screen. Alan Hines moving up even higher with his 95.7, and Zach O'Sullivan doing the same thing as well with a 94.7, and Steven hangs on with that number 3 position with a 92.7. So that's going to do it for Group 3. We'll take a small break, load in Group 4, and we'll be right back with some more qualifying. All right, and again, we are quickly back with some more qualifying, and this time Group 4 will be up, and Kazuki Fukushi will lead things off again for Group 4. And look at that, the top 8 just full of 90s today here at Riga.
Yeah, what an amazing Group 3. That Group 3 is very strong, and I mean, it really kind of sets the bar here for the rest of the remaining groups. And as we finish out this group, we'll have the cutoff. So groups 5, 6, 7, and 8 will all have to compete for that top spot.
Absolutely. As we go on to Kazuki Fukushi, starting things out with Group 4. Nice transition into outside zone 2. Grabs the inner clip. And the next outside zone looking good here to start things out for himself. And look at there, transitioning that Celica along the wall. Setting in nicely. He'll keep it going and finish out a pretty solid first run for himself.
Yeah, very good job from Fukushi. And right across the board, 89 for Kazuki Fukushi as we move on now to Ryan Literal in that power stop S15. Initiating in, trying to get on that yellow line, does a good job through outer zone 1, transitions into outer zone 2, going a little wide for that inside clip though, but grabbing outer zone 4. Doing a good job here for 5. And into that final outer zone, not as deep onto the wall as he could be, but slowly works his way out there as he gets to the end of his very first run of qualifying here, the Virtual Drift Championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking good in my opinion. First run here in the series and an 84.3 on the board for Ryan. So just a couple of things to clean up. And he'll have a solid score there as we move on to Brandon Gardner. And looking good through turn 1. Rear tire on that yellow line. Smooth transition across as well. Grabbing the inside clip. And goes all the way out there using the full track there. And look at there, setting into the wall.
Wow.
Keeps it going. My word.
Whew. Just puts it on the wall and plants it there. Doesn't want to move off of it. And a 90.3 for Brandon. Very solid run for him. Now that transition onto the wall was that was one of the closest I think we've had today. As we have Brian Garcia ready to do his first run of qualifying. Sadly, Marek couldn't join us today due to an issue. But we got Brian out on track. Good initiation through outer zone 1. Good fast transition through 2 and into that inside clip. He has a lot of speed coming into these last 2 outer zones as we see him get onto the wall. Not as much angle as he should have. And then overcorrects and has to shut down his run right before the finish line.
Yeah, super unfortunate to see. I was happy to see Brian Garcia back competing again, especially in that accident. It looks awesome, but unfortunate to see him get a 0 there. And we're on to Darren Baker coming in second last round and throwing his GTR in. And looking good so far. Very smooth transition and gets just around that inside clip. Sets in nicely for clip 5 and another big transition. He does need to make a correction though along that wall. It straightens him up just a little bit, but he clutch kicks out of it and keeps things going. And I believe he'll still get a score on the board there for that run.
I think Darren Baker wanting a little bit of a higher score than his first run, as he doesn't want to have to fight through the field as hard as he had to last time. As we have Andreas Lene now initiating in, holding that yellow line, dropping a little bit of tire through outer zone 1. Good transition through 2 and beautifully grabbing that inside clip, filling all of the next outer zone and into the final transition now onto the wall ride. Leaves quite a bit of room, but gets onto that wall and starts adding that angle on just before the finish line.
Not too bad of a start. And look at there, 89 on the board for Andreas. Solid score. And we're on along to Carl Hildebrand, his first event of the Virtual Drift Championship as well. And throwing his car along that yellow line. Very smooth transition across. Good line so far here for his first run. And looking very comfortable in this S14.
I know, they keep putting different front ends on them.
Yeah, I had to wait for the rear to come around. But very good from Carl there. And look at there, a 90 on the board for his very first qualifying run of the entire series.
Yeah, very good job from Carol. As we go back to the top of Group 4, Kazuki Fukushi sitting on an 89 and ready to lay down some more rubber as he does a crazy flick initiation. Gets through outer zone 1, nice angle as he goes through outer zone 2, grabbing that inside clip nicely, holding a good line and lots of angle coming into the second to last outer zone, and a great transition, but going into the wall and having to put on opposite lock, and that's going to end his run for qualifying. Oh, what a sad way to go after what was looking to be a beautiful run.
Yeah, absolutely. I was excited for that one as well. But that's all right. 89 should get him on into that top 32 later today as we move on to Ryan Literal for his second run. 84.3 is what he's currently sitting on. And throws that S15 in and looking good so far. Good transition across. Nicely around that inside clip. Going on the angle there before making that transition. Grabs that next zone. See if he can set into the wall a little bit better this time. He does. And he'll finish it out, giving the wall just a little tap across that finish line.
A very good job from Little. The second run looked a lot more settled. He fixed up what he needed to fix up, so good for him. And he really improves, sitting on an 89 now for his second run was Ryan Literal. As we go around to Brandon Gardner, already on a 90.3. Can he better it? Amazing initiation and transition through these first 3 clips, grabbing all of them like it's nothing. Tons of speed and angle as we see him just nick the curb there. Will that upset him into the wall ride? No, it won't. Look at that. Right into the wall, mimicking his first run. And wow. Brandon.
Guys, chill.
Yeah.
And already sitting on the 90.3 as well. And look at there, 93.7. And he'll squeeze on into that third position here in qualifying. Brian Garcia onto his second run. Unfortunately, sitting on that 0, but we know he's certainly capable. Throws that car in and looking good through turn 1. Nicely around inside clip, just a little wide, but grabs the next outside zone. Up onto the curb just a little bit, just leaning onto it. Oh, and he almost does the same thing there, coming into that last and final outside zone along the wall, but this time he hangs on to it, keeps the run going, so he will get some points on the board, and it will be an 80.
That's a very scary score, too, as we're going to find out at the end of this qualifying session for Group 4 what the cutoff is for the top 32s. We have Darren Baker sitting on that 87. Better initiation this time around. Could have been a bit deeper into outer zone 1. Makes that transition through 2 and grabs 3, the inside clip nicely. Comes through clip 4 and now into 5. One last transition here. Let's see how he does on the wall ride, leaving a little bit of danger room for himself, but finishing out the run clean.
Yeah, overall pretty good from Darren Baker, and as you said, maybe wanting to better that 87 to guarantee a spot into that top 32 as these scores are getting really high here. And a 93 for Darren Baker. On to Andreas, sitting on that 89, not too bad of a score here, and throwing his Supra along that yellow line, hangs on to it, makes a good transition, cleaner there through that section of the course this time, and a little hesitant, picking throttle back up through that. Oh no, and car just unloads and sends him around. Very unfortunate to see there in Andreas' second run, but 89 still seems pretty solid today. We'll have to wait and see if that's going to be enough.
Well, we're going to find out what the bottom score is after this run as we have Karel Hinderbrand going for his final run, sitting on a 90 already. Huge initiation in that S14.5. Getting through outer zone 1, nice and clean, good transition through outer zone 2, through the inside clip, now into clip 4. He is looking beautiful out there, keeping that car in angle and tons of speed as he comes into the wall ride. Can he get up on it? Yes, he does. Now to start adding the angle just before the end, and there he goes. What a run from Carroll.
Yeah, Carroll throwing down here in qualifying, and he's excited about it there. Again, 90 on the board is what he's already sitting at, and a 91 for his second run. But Alan Hines is going to hold on to that number one position at the 95.7. Zach O'Sullivan with his 94.7, and Brandon Gardner now with that 93.7. So again, we'll take another break, load in Group 5, and we'll be right back with some more qualifying. All right, we are back with some more qualifying. A little small delay there, but we've got it sorted out. We're ready to send the next group of qualifying again. Alan Hines still sitting at that 95.7. And this is Group 5, where Tresh is going to start us out. Yarko Tresh looking good in practice as well. Let's see if he can look good here in qualifying. As he sends it for his first run here, throwing that S15 in. Sticking along that yellow line there, filling that zone. Look at that transition across and smooth line through inside clip and into the next outside zone. Picks up zone 5 as well. And look at there, setting into the wall beautifully and keeps things going. Just minor left foot brake to hang it out there. And he'll finish out his first run of the day.
Looking very solid out there. And 91.7 for Yaroslav. As we move over to Connor Christensen now. Connor in this S14. His first run of the day. Let's see how he does. Decent initiation, but a little too inside, so he's going to just miss out on clip 1. Grabbing clip 2 and the inside clip. Going through clip 4 now and transitioning into 5. Making through both of those. Getting the transition done to the wall ride. Not too deep onto the wall as he starts to add in that angle and work his way out near the end.
Yeah, overall pretty good for Connor Christensen there for his first run of the day as well. See what kind of score comes through in at 83.7 up on the board. And Alexander Yeagar up next for his first run. And he's been looking good in this car in practice as well, and looking good through first turn. Keeps things going. Smooth, adding on the angle there before the transition. Picks up that next outside zone and setting along the wall very nicely as he keeps it going. And a solid run for Alexander Yeagar.
Very good run. As I just saw come across on our graphic there, the current cutoff is 77.3, but as these guys start to get the scores in, that'll just keep going up and up and up. 93 there for Yeager. Very good score as we move on to Austin now. Austin in that brand new Supra, initiating in. Beautiful through the first outer zone. Grabbing that outer zone 2 and a huge snap transition through the next few zones here as we get to the second last one and transitioning into that final wall ride. He is looking very good out there as he finishes out his run.
They're back-to-back Supras here. And Austin with a 92.3 for his first run, and on to Lazam. His A90 Supra as well. And looking good through turn 1, following that yellow line. Good transition, nice line across that inside clip. And follows it beautifully again to fill that next outside zone and setting up along that wall. Does leave it just a little bit of left foot brake there to work it back out there, and he does. Finishes it out strong. We'll wait and see what kind of score will come through on that board. These scores have been very high today.
So an 88.3 there for Lazam, so a very good start as we have Dimitri Mitten now. Coming in for his first run of qualifying. Good initiation, following that yellow line, filling all of outer zone 1. Good transition, but getting up on the rumble strips upset him a little bit, but not too much. So he went a little wide for that inside clip. But now, woo, dropping 2 tires over clip 5 as he comes into the wall ride and just trying to settle out that Supra and lose some wheel speed as he keeps that angle all the way around to the finish.
Yeah, it would have been a really solid run if it weren't for going just a little wide and up onto those rumble strips, and it shows in the score of 79 on the board for Dimitri. And we're back around to Brandon. First run in his big Ferrari here. And looking good in it so far. Very good line across that inside clip. And a nice transition once again. Does leave a little bit of room on the table, but he works it back out there. Getting wide. Ooh, and almost giving it a tap there as he crosses that finish line. Brandon Patrick looking strong in run 1 here in that Ferrari. At 89 on the board for Brandon in his first run.
These scores again, it's being in those low 80s. It's going to be scary over the next little while here as we move through Group 5. Back around to the top with Yarrow Tresh. Yarrow getting off the line nice and clean. He's got the flashy lights going in the front as he initiates in for his second and final run of qualifying. Good job through outer zone 1. Good transition through outer zone 2, grabbing clip 3. Nice job through clip 4. Now to ace number 5. Let's see how he does on the wall ride. Trying to work his way out there, not as deep as he could be, but holding that angle all the way through to the finish.
Yeah, another really strong run there from Tresh, but does come up a little shy of that previous score, 85 on the board, and he'll stick with that 91.7. We'll move on to Connor Christensen. Nice initiation there, leaving a little bit of room. It grabs that outside zone. Very nice transition there for clip 2. Just flying through the course here. Back on throttle there for that last and final wall ride. Leaves it just a little bit, works back out there. Across that finish line.
And an 86.7 for Connor Christensen. As we move over to Alexander Yeager now, sitting on that 93 in this beautiful Lexus of his. Amazing first run. Let's see how he does on his second. Lots of angle, not filling all of outer zone 1, but making it work for 2 and the inside clip as he comes through the next outer zone and transitions with lots of angle going up over that bumper, over the curbs, but catches it and holds it for the wall ride. That is some great driving there, not to lose it around there and hit that wall.
Not too bad of a second score. Nice little tiebreaker if he needs it there. And on to Austin Zalewski, sitting on that 92.3. And trying to better it here with that entry along that yellow line. Smooth line there around that inside clip. Up onto that rumble strip just a little bit there, but look at that along the wall. Super smooth, keeps it going, and finishes out another super strong run from Austin Zalewski here.
And Austin ending up with an 88 for that run. Again, another good tiebreaker score as we move over to Lazam, sitting on that 88.3. We'll see how he does on his second run. Good initiation, little bit of lag there at the beginning though, but making it through outer zone 1 could have been a tad deeper, but really fills outer zone 2 and grabs inside clip 1 as he comes through outer zone 3 and 4. Doing a good job here as he sets up for the wall now, tries to push his way out there and starts adding on the angle through that wall ride and just nicks the wall as he finishes out the run.
And at 86 for Lazam, so another not bad run. As we see that top 32 cutoff, 83.7 right now as we move to Dimitri. Throwing that super in, looking good so far. Snappy transition across, doesn't go up onto the rumble strip this time either. Much cleaner line here. Ooh, and up onto that one just a little bit. Oh no, and I was just about to say he kept things going. Unfortunately, he resets really fast there. I'm sure he is upset with himself with that run, and he will get a 0 on the board.
Just hit the wall so hard he went into the shadow realm. As we see Brandon Patrick now sitting on an 89 and the last driver of Group 5 coming through that first outer zone and into the second, grabbing that inside clip very beautifully through the third outer zone, transitions into that fourth, just putting the car where it needs to be, filling the zones, not going super aggressive, just trying to increase that score of an 89. And that might do it with that cleaner run.
Yeah, it was much cleaner there from Brandon. We'll wait and see what that score is going to be. As you said, the last and final driver of this group, and 91.7 on the board for Brandon Patrick to round things out for that group. And Alan Hines sticks with that number one position with a 95.7. Zach O'Sullivan right behind him with a 94.7. And Brandon Gardner sticking around as well with that 93.7 to round out the top three. We'll take another short break, load in Group 6 of qualifying, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back for the sixth group of qualifying here today at Riga Latvia, Bikernieki. We've got a strong group of drivers here that have gone so far. Alan Hines sitting 95.7, Zach 94.7, and Brandon Gardner right behind him with a 93.7. And look at just all these 90s through the current top 32. As we work all the way down to 15th position so far after 5 groups, with Abdulaziz Al-Harbi with his 90.7, and then Al Shetwi right behind him with the 89. Drivers just getting their one practice run as they join the server. And it's going to be Matthias Nordingen starting things out for Group 6. Matthias coming up just shy of qualifying for round 1. Hopefully he can qualify today for round 2.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's with how tight everything is right now. Each driver has to put 100% effort into each of their runs. Even hope to make it in, as we're already looking at an 83.7 cutoff, and we still have 2 more groups to go. As we let these drivers take their practice runs, as we wait for that final call from the judges for everybody to get up to the line so we can continue on with our qualifying session. I want to thank everybody for joining us so far with qualifying. To stick around, as not too long after qualifying starts up the top 32. And this will be a top 32 not to miss, as I'm betting it'll be one more time city today.
Yeah, it really might turn into something like that for a top 32.
And well, Zach O'Sullivan right behind Alan Hines. I know that's someone he probably doesn't want to meet again in battles. You know, Zach O'Sullivan getting the win over Alan in the last round. That could be a crazy matchup when we see them go at it again.
Absolutely, and we are bringing Matthias to the line for his first run of the day. We can see a couple of drivers not quite paying attention to what's going on. Luciano's getting ready. And there we go, our Matthias off for his first run. And entering in nicely this time. Looking good on a very nice line here through his first run of the day. Picks up throttle quickly, but not enough, and goes up onto that curb and into the wall just a little bit. Oh, tries to keep things going, and he does. Oh my goodness. We'll wait and see if, yeah, the judges are going to give him a score, but it is going to be fairly low at a 71.7.
But good job on him for holding it through and just committing to that run. As we have Daniel Mora for his first run now, initiating in. Looking good so far through outer zone 1. Good transition through 2 and picks up the inside clip a little far away, but still making it as he comes through outside zone 4 now and making that transition into 5. Trying to get as close to that wall with that BMW as he can as the angle starts adding up by the finish line.
Yeah, not a bad run from Daniel Moore to start things out for himself there. Trying to work up into that top 32, of course, and it's going to take a strong run, and he'll get an 88. We'll move on to Alexander Sivruk. This time driving a big Ferrari here. Typically, they've been in S chassis as well as a GT86 for his rookie season. But looking good so far here in the 599. Transitions across. Overall, pretty smooth here from Alexander. And finishes it out strong. For, I'm going to assume, a pretty good score on the board.
It was a very smooth run, and it's looking like an 89.7 for Alexander's first run. We move over to Artem Masushenko. Artem in this, I believe it was a 2J powered Mustang. Correct me if I'm wrong there, as we see him go through that for the first 3 clips and looking good so far. He did very well in qualifying on his first time out in the Virtual Drift Championship in round 1, but nicking into that wall, having to add some opposite lock, and that is more than likely going to ding him a 0. So Artem will have one shot to try and get into the top 32.
Yeah, and there it comes through there on the board, and unfortunately Tikon there on the graphic, we'll have to skip him, and we're going to move on to Thormodsen here in his new Corvette. And looking good through turn 1, does come up a little shy there for that yellow line. Grabs that next outside zone, and bouncy throughout the course here. Looks like he's trying to get all the grip out of that car that he can. But he hangs on to it for a nice qualifying run.
Yeah, if I remember right, Thormodsen actually drove that in a feeder series. So, you know, car he is comfortable with. So let's see if he can improve that 81.7 that he just got on his first run as we move over to the hot boy himself, Marcus Lindquist, initiating in, trying to hold that yellow line and getting through outer zone 1 nicely. Just going up onto the rumbles through outer zone 2, grabbing inside clip 1. Now coming for the transition into outer zone 4. Looking nice and clean. As he comes in for that wall ride, could have been a little closer, but works his way out there and holds it against that wall all the way to the finish.
Good on Marcus, as you said, the hot boy himself with a fairly strong run there. We'll wait and see what the score is going to be as we see that top 32 creep up into now the 85.7. Marcus with an 87.3. And we're on to Darius Ostraka for his first run of the day. Driving that nice E92 here, entering in, and holding on to that outside line all the way through turn 1, grabs the next outside zone. And fills 3, pouring on that angle and then transitioning to a really good line there for that outside zone. Sets up into the wall nicely, leaves it just a little bit that works back out there, and stuffing the bumper into that wall and finishing it out.
And a very good job indeed there from Ostraka with a 91.3 for his first run. So now sitting on a 71.7 and definitely needing to improve is this man here, Matheus Nordingen. He initiates in, holding that yellow line beautifully. Good job through outer zone 1 and a good transition through 2 and grabbing that inside clip beautifully. Could have been a little more deep into outer zone 3. Coming through 4 could have been a bit deeper there as well, but overall holding a good line as we come across this final outer zone. Making his way through that should be enough to improve that 71.7.
Yeah, much better there for his second run. We'll wait and see what the judges will say. An 83.3, so he is going to fall just shy of that top 32 as we see it now, 86.3. As Daniel Mora throws in his BMW. And flying through the course here. Good line around that inside clip and into that outside zone. Gets up into that pocket as well. And throws that car into the wall. Super nice transition there. Keeps things going. And finishes out run 2.
And finishing out run 2 very strong with a 93 as we have Alexander Shavrook now on a 89.7 in the Ferrari. Initiating in off of that 89.7, doing a good job through outer zone 1 and 2. Going a little too deep though into the inside clip, grabbing outer zone 3 and now making 4. A little bit of a stutter there as he comes in to set up for the wall ride, but puts it on the wall and holds it around all the way to finish out his second run.
Yeah, fairly smooth, but a little hesitant coming into that last and final outside zone at the wall, but it is going to be strong with an 89.7. He matches his first run, so consistency definitely on par there as we move on to Artem Makashenko. Again, as you said, a 2J powered Mustang. Looking good so far here through run 2. He needs to put some points on the board. As you see, he's got that 0 for run 2 going into the wall. And he hangs on to it. Keeps things going. And he'll finish out his run with the pressure on after getting that 0 in run 1. He looks excited about it, as he should be.
And he is with an 87, so just making it in, and that score could just keep going up. So let's hope an 87 is enough for him as we have Tobias Thermotson sitting on that 81.7, needs to improve as he goes a little shallow for outer zone 1, but a huge transition from outer zone 2 into that inside clip, grabbing 3 beautifully. Now into 4, could have been just a tad deeper in 4. Tries to push up against the wall as hard as he can, and looking to add that angle as he finishes out his run. Let's see if he'll make it in.
Oh, an 81 on the board, so he is going to fall shy of that top 32, but it's always excited to see him out here. And we move on to Marcus once again for run 2, sitting on an 87.3. He may want to better that score to guarantee himself into that top 32. As that cutoff point just keeps getting higher and higher. Leans up against that rumble strip and keeps things going. Gives the wall just a little tap. Very minor correction there. Oh, and once again before crossing that finish line.
That was a way better run there from Marcus than his first one. A way better one indeed with a 90.7 as we move to our final run of Group 6. Darius Ostraka sitting on a 91.3, initiating in, holding that yellow line all the way down the hill through outer zone 1, transitioning into outer zone 2. Beautiful job through the inside clip as he grabs outer zone 3 and now transitions to outer zone 4, right up against those rumble strips. A little bit of a bump, but that does not unsettle him as he puts the rear bumper right on that wall through outer zone 5, and looking very good is Darius Ostraka, looking to improve that 91.3.
Yeah, he might do that with that run there. 91.3 already super solid, but falls just a little shy with a 90.3. But overall, very good from him and will be used as a tiebreaker if needed later to change that, qualifying position just a little bit. But Alan Hines remains top qualifying position, 95.7. Zach's still right behind him with a 94.7. And Brandon Gardner with his 93.7. So that's going to do it for Group 6. We'll take a very short break, load in Group 7, and of course, we'll be right back with some more qualifying. All right, we are back and have the next group of qualifying loaded in. Group 7, almost done with qualifying here today. And if you're just now joining us, Alan Hines still sitting in that number 1 position with that 95.7, and Zach O'Sullivan with his 94.7, and Brandon Gardner with a 93.7. Just a couple of points separating the 3 there.
Yeah, it's very close indeed, and it's my prediction at the start of this round was actually that the cutoff was going to be an 88. So we'll see if I'm right by the end of this.
It's certainly getting close to that. You see those 90s working all the way down through that top 32, and ending at 18th position there with Marcus and his 90.7.
And we still have a lot of great drivers left to go. I mean, still 2 more groups that can definitely shell out big time. Just wait for one more person to load in. I noticed they had a little bit of an issue getting into the server, so I think
yeah, I believe we're actually going to have to restart the server once again, as having a little bit of technical difficulties as we just moved hardware over for these competition servers to really improve the connection, but it seems a couple of things went wrong, locking the cars and basically making it to where drivers can't edit the data on their cars and make them faster or something like that. We'll have to get that uploaded and restart the server as you see it turn around and everybody leave. So again, we'll take a very short break just to restart the server once again, and we'll be right back with that qualifying. All right, apologies for that delay. The data ACDs just wanted to break themselves for the new server for whatever reason, but we've got them all uploaded and everybody is in the server ready to go for some more qualifying. Again, Group 7 and Cages is going to start us out here in his BMW estate. That massive wing on the back there. It throws that car into that yellow line there. And keeps things going. Good transition. Leans up against that curb. Keeps things going. Right onto the pocket of that yellow line and into that next outside zone. Sets along the wall nicely. Gives it a little tap and leaves it just a little bit there. And across the finish line he goes.
You know, not a bad run, though, for Cages, especially coming off of having some connection difficulties. I'd be pretty stressed out, but he made it look easy as we wait for those scores to come in and we move over. We see Russell Jones now at the line and ready to go. Still one more score, and an 88.3 for Cages Salonis as Russell Jones sends it in his S14 right along that yellow line, filling all of Outer Zone 1, getting up on the curb a little bit for Outer Zone 2, but beautifully getting through inside Clip 1. Now up to Clip 4. Could have gone a little deeper, left quite a bit of room, but sets up for the transition onto the wall ride and is looking really good around there as we see him finish out his first run of qualifying.
Yeah, Russell Jones coming out swinging for run 1 there and looking smooth throughout. Have to wait and see what that score is going to be, and it is going to be shy of that top 32 right now as we quickly move along to William Holloway in his new F22. Looking and sounding really good here as he works through the course on a very good line in just a little bit smaller car. Round 1 he was in an E92, wanted to switch, but oh no, and as I say that, he puts the bumper along the wall. It straightens him out, and he's going to have to shut that down, and he'll get a 0 for run 1.
Now he's going to have a lot of work to do on his second run as we move over to Yasser Saad. Did very good in his first round, and now we'll see how he does in the second here at Riga as he initiates in, putting that car right on the yellow line, filling Outer Zone 1, grabbing all of Outer Zone 2, and a good job through the inside clip as he comes into Outer Zone 3, transitions now 4-4, puts it right along those rumble strips. He makes one final transition to put it on the wall, leaving barely any room as he starts to pour on the angle, and finishing out his first run of qualifying very strong.
Yeah, absolutely. This JX team is super strong, and look at there, 90 on the board, super quick from those judges. And we're quickly moving along to Robert here in his 370Z. Very cool car here from Robert, representing that RPM team and transitioning nicely into outside zone 2. Really nice along that inside clip as well. Holding on to that good line here through this course. A good transition into this last and final outside zone along the wall. And very smooth from Robert here in run 1.
Very smooth run indeed from Robert, and that should hopefully get him up in there with an 88 coming up on the board. As we move on to the second driver, no, you're not seeing double. This is the Podium Academy driver, Reese Tatterson. He got to experience his own hand in a big actual drift car as he goes too wide for Outer Zone 1, dropping 2 tires, but starts to clean the run up as we see him come through the rest of the course, nicely putting the car exactly where he needs to go, wanting to get up there with his teammate who currently holds our number 1 spot, finishing out his run.
Trying to get up there indeed with that solid run there for his first one of the day. Reese super familiar with this track, and at 88.3 on the board, and we're on to Adriel Mercado. First run of the day for Adriel. And flicking that car in. Picks up throttle and leaves that outside line just a little bit, but he picks up the outside zone, makes that transition across. And filling outside zone 3 really nicely. Leans up against that curve there. Sets into the last and final outside zone. And holding an outside line as well. Good run from Adriel to start things out for himself.
Yeah, very good run indeed. There, he had a couple moments there where I thought, oh, maybe he's going a little too hot, but he holds it together and pulls off an 86.7 for his first run. As we move back around to the top of Group 7, Cages Salonis sitting on that 88.3. He's going to have to give it everything on this run. Really inside on that line, but makes his way out to Outer Zone 1 and kind of demolishes that inside clip as he comes through it there out to Outer Zone 3. Now making the transition into 4, holding a lot of speed as he's coming into that wall ride and leaving enough room just to be careful with it. Doesn't want to go in too deep, and makes it work and finishes out his final run of qualifying.
And an 80.7 for run 2 for Cages, so he'll hang on to that 88. And we'll move on to Russell Jones, sitting on an 83.7. Definitely wants to better that, as you see that cutoff in an 87.7 right now with Octavian, as these scores work themselves up here. And he's looking good here through run 2. Nice transition, fills that next outside zone. Smooth around this last and final zone and across that finish line. We'll wait and see if that's going to be enough to put him on up into that top 32. And needs that 87.7 or higher, probably higher actually.
Right now the cutoff is 87.7.
And a 90.7 from Russell Jones, cleaning up his second run, and he'll work himself into that top 32.
We had William Holloway's car sitting on the line there, looking like it had too much caffeine, vibrating like crazy as he initiates in, holding it along that yellow line, not as deep as he could be in Outer Zone 1, but makes the transition, but demolishes that inside clip, going in way too deep, but makes it work for outside Zone 3. Coming into 4, he's carrying a lot of speed. He's got to be careful here as he gets it up onto the wall and starts applying that angle near the finish. Sitting on a 0, he needed to give it everything. Will it be enough, though?
Ooh, and an 83 on the board, so he is going to fall shy of that top 32. It's always exciting to see William out in his BMW, and Yasir throwing this car in, sitting on a 90, a solid score so far. Might be able to better it here as he sets into that pocket through that outside zone, and then plants that car along that wall, keeps it going, sticking to that line, and across the finish line he goes for run 2, trying to better that 90. It will be close. Another solid run from Yasir.
And Yasir matching his first qualifying score with a 90. So very good job indeed there for Yasir. As we move over to Robert in the beautiful RPM Team 370Z, initiating in, sitting on an 88, so still in that danger zone as we see him transition through the next 2 clips. A little wide there for the inside clip, not filling out all of 3 as he should have, but taking all of inside clip 4, or outside zone 4, my bad, as we see him come through this final wall ride, really making quick work of this course.
Yeah, another solid run from Robert. It'll be close to see if that will beat the 88 as he runs into those walls there. And 87.7, so falls just shy there. And we're back around to Reese Tatterson trying to better his 88.3. As these scores work themselves up higher and higher. Reese flying through the course here again. Just the familiarity with this course. Tons of hours. And 88.3 wants to better it. And he might just do that.
And he definitely does, with a 94, getting right up there with his teammate. But now to Adriel Machado on an 86.7. He needs to improve this run. A little less of an e-brake pull. Good job through Outer Zone 1. Looking really solid through those next 2 zones. We see him come through Outer Zone 3 and into 4, up on the rumble strip just a little bit, dropping a little bit of a tire, but that shouldn't upset him too much as he puts the car nice and deep into that wall. Will that be enough to get him out of that danger zone and into the top 32?
It'll be close. It definitely, I believe, was better than his first run. He held on to that outside zone better, and at 87.3. So just shy of Shoma Takaya's 87.7 to make it on into top 32. That's going to do it for Group 7. We'll take a very small break, and we'll return with some more qualifying. All right, again, we are back for some more qualifying here at Riga Latvia and the Bikernieki track. We've got another super strong group coming up.
Not only another group, but the final group of qualifying before we figure out who's all in the top 32, who didn't make it, and what it's going to be like for battles.
Absolutely, just super high scores today, all just tucked up in the 90s. The cutoff point getting closer and closer to a 90 as well. So these drivers really need to come out swinging here in their last and final group if they want to make it on into that top 32. As we see there, Shoma Takaya currently rounding out the top 32 with his 87.7. And here we go with Magomed Omarov coming to the line in his IS 300. He's off to kick things off for this last and final group, entering in along that yellow line and looking good here. Better and better each and every time I see him here in the sim. Great transition across, filling that outside zone and setting along the wall. Look at here, Magomed Omarov going off in his first run here in qualifying.
Very good first run for Magomed. That was full send, especially under that last transition. I thought he was going into the wall, but he somehow held it. And the score comes in with an 88.3 for Magomed as we move on to Masashi Yoshida. Masashi in this beautiful and my favorite of the R chassis, the R33. Initiating in, holding along that yellow line beautifully, filling all of outer zone 1, transitioning into 2. A little late on the transition, but makes it work. Gets through the inside clip as well, through outer zone 3, and now coming into 4, just touching those rumble strips as he puts the wing right over the wall on the transition and holds it there the whole way around. Masashi Yoshida, very good run.
Yeah, Masashi looking very good again, and unfortunately, with the time zones and everything, and him being located in Japan, it is super late at night. Yeah, I guess you could call it early in the morning, and he puts up a 91 on the board, but unfortunately, he fell asleep before his battles in top 32. So we hope he can stay awake for his battle today, as I'm super excited to see him go at it in the top 32. And here's Jake Wise entering that S14 in, I believe, the only Zinky we have as well. Looking good here through the course. Same car that he used last season as well, that he ended up switching to, actually. An overall good run there from Jake Wise.
Yeah, Jake doing a very good job out there. Very clean, very collected as he ends up with a 90.7. Now we move on to Oliver Eppinger in the Toyota Supra. Let's see how he gets on here for his first qualifying run. Great initiation through outer zone 1, transitions now into outer zone 2, holding that line but taking out the front cone of that inside clip. Tries to make the transition work, and he does for his outer zone 4, getting it to stick onto that wall now, and hopefully holding it all the way around to finish out his first run here of qualifying.
Yeah, Oliver looking good in the Supra once again. Came out swinging last season in that Supra, and looking good here as well, as he does put up an 88.3, but we'll have to wait and see for his second run if he'll be able to make it into that top 32. As you see, that is the current cutoff. Clytus looking good here through his first run. Small correction there for that outside zone, but he does fill it, sticks to that line there. Transitions across, comes up a little shallow there for that last and final outside zone. Tries to work it back out there. He does along that wall and finishes out his first run of the day.
And sadly, his first run is going to need to be improved, sitting on an 83.3. And I know you hear us sitting here talking about these scores like an 83 is still an amazing run, but it's got to be better as we have Luciano Canero now coming for his first run. Could have been deeper into outer zone 1, transitions for 2, gets through the inside clip nicely, gets through outer zone 4 nicely. A good transition into outer zone 5. Now transitioning to that wall ride and looking good around it, coming off it just a tad and having to make an adjustment to add more angle, but finishing it out clearly.
Yeah, not a bad run from the silent car of Luciano. I don't know if it's that way for you, but it was just dead silent from him there. And 84.3 on the board, so hopefully he can improve on that to make it on into that top 32. And here we go with Christoph Rapinov returning to us this season. Nice transition. New car for him as well in this E36. And looking good in it so far. As he fills that next outside zone, leaning up against that curb and sets into the wall nicely as he keeps things going here with a fairly solid run for his first run of the day.
It's always the smooth runs that you kind of go, wow, you know, it's smooth, it's calm, it's collected, and the points show it there as Christoph ends up with a 90 for his first run as we move now to KO Fonseca. KO initiating in that S15, lots of speed, good angle through outer zone 1, transitions through outer zone 2 and grabs that inside clip beautifully as we see him come through outer zone 4 with lots of angle and making up more angle, but having to drop 2 tires and go up over those rumble strips, but it doesn't disrupt him through outer zone 5 here as he puts the back bumper on the wall and finishes out his first run of qualifying.
Yeah, not too bad from Fonseca in that S15, but does go up on to that curve and gets an 88.3 on the board as we move on along to Brandon Williams and his chaser, tossing that big car in and looking good through turn 1 and outside zone 1, transitions across, picks up that zone and keeps things moving here, grabs that clip 5 and into that last and final wall ride as he comes up a little shallow, using a little bit of left foot brake to work back out there, and he finishes out a pretty solid run.
A solid run indeed with an 89 as I guess we could say we saved the best for last. Tikon Pileski, the final driver of Group 8. End of this qualifying session for the first set of qualifying runs. We see him initiating in right on that yellow line, filling all of outer zone 1. Real snap transition through outer zone 2 and grabbing that inner clip through 4 now. He is flying with his foot to the floor as he comes through outer zone 4 beautifully and puts it right up on the wall for outer zone 5. And look at that angle all the way through to the finish is Tikon Pileski.
Yeah, solid as always is Tikon Pileski here in qualifying, and a 95.3 on the board, works himself into the second position, and we're back around to Amarov, his teammate here in this IS300 Altezza, wherever you're from. It is a left-hand drive though, so I believe we technically call it an IS.
IS300.
Absolutely. Looking good here. Goodness gracious, he hangs on to it. I thought the run was going to have to get shut down there as he set into that wall, but he keeps things going, and we'll have to see if he'll better that score. It'll be tough with that minor mistake coming into that last and final outside zone.
As he ends up with an 86.7 for his final scores, we move over to the man sitting on a 91, Mr. Yoshida. Good initiation in through to outer zone 1 and a good transition through outer zone 2 and grabbing that inside clip beautifully. As we see him come through 4, a good transition into outer zone 4. Looking good, but going into the wall and having to shut down that run as he grabs the wall too hard and just can't keep control.
Yeah, he sure did. Unfortunate to see, but he's still sitting on that 91 and into the top 32 as we move along to Jake Wise for his second run. Coming up a little shallow here in turn 1 and outside zone 1. Gets a little bit of that curve as he makes that transition across, but hangs on to a fairly decent line here. He transitions one last final time, comes up a little shallow for that wall ride, tries to work back out there, and finishes out his second run of the day. It'll be close if that's going to be enough to beat the 90.7. I imagine it may fall a little short with 86.3.
And now seeing the new cutoff of an 89. 89. So these guys got to get the work in. Oliver Eppinger sitting on an 88.3, coming through outer zone 1 clean, getting through 2 and 3 very nicely, holding that angle in line. Good transition as he sets up for outer zone 4. Could have been a little deeper. Now he comes into outer zone 5, puts the rear bumper on the wall, pushes his way out there for the final finish line for his qualifying run.
Ooh, and doubles the score, 88.3. So unfortunate to see Oliver come up short of that top 32, but score is so high right now. Clytus with an 83.3 needs to better that if he wants to make it on into that top 32. Comes up really shallow there, but looking good there for that outside zone in that section of the course as he sets on into the wall, puts his foot down, keeps things going, and finishes out run 2.
Well, he does improve his score, but not enough to get into the top 32 with only an 85. As we move on to Luciano Canero now sitting on an 84.3. He's got to give it everything he has for this final run as we see him initiate in the dead silent BMW. He takes noise restriction laws very seriously as we see him come through outer zone 3 and a good transition to outer zone 4, just touching that rumble strip. Now to see how he does on the wall ride. This is where you can lose a lot of points, but he's doing a very good job through it. It was a very clean run. We'll see if it was enough to break through to that 90.
Ooh, and an 88 on the board. So again, falling just shy here as we move along to Christoph Rapina, currently sitting on a 90. So he's made it on into the top 32, goes wide. I think first driver, not to, call Christoph out or anything, but first driver of the day to go wide for turn 1 and off track a little bit. Unfortunate to see, but again, sitting on that 90, he's made it on into the top 32 already. And we'll move along to Kale Fonseca.
Yeah, Kale Fonseca on an 88.3, and I can't believe to say that an 88.3 is still not enough to get into the top 32. Kale Fonseca, final run, initiating in right along that yellow line, filling all of outer zone 1, transitioning, getting all of outer zone 2, beautiful through that inside clip. Lots of angle coming out of outer zone 3, just touching that the rumble strip on outer zone 4, now into 5. Got to put that rear end as far in as he can. He's got to make a statement here to try and make up the 1.7 points to get into the top 32.
He might have done that with that run. It's going to be so close, very smooth. And look at there, 92 on the board. He makes it on into top 32. And here we go with Brandon Williams sitting on his 89. Throws that big car in. Coming up just a little shy for outside zone 1. He does get the box, but doesn't fill it all the way. Makes this transition across that track. Last and final one here as he sets along that wall. Works that bumper out there. Puts his foot down and keeps things going, and that may just better that 89 that he currently has on the board here. And trying to make it into that top 32 needs a strong score at least. And look at there, 90 on the board for Brandon Williams. He makes it on into the top 32.
Wow, this is just insane. So again, saving best for last, the guy who's right behind Alan Hines on a 95.3, T-Con Pileski, riding that yellow line the whole way through outer zone 1. Quick transition through outer zone 2, just grazing that inside clip. Look at that, lock to lock. as he comes through 3 and 4. Now onto the final outer zone is Tikon Pleski, getting lots of angle and still carrying tons of speed while maintaining that line as well.
He's literally a robot.
Robot.
Oh my word, that run.
As we wait for his scores, I'm seeing them right now. We have a 96, a 96, a 94, and he matches on the average at a 95.3.
I mean, almost just spot on run from Tikon Pileski there. Again, as you said, matching that 95.3. He'll stick to second position. And look at that. Alan Hines, 95.7. Tikon Pileski with his 95.3. Zach O'Sullivan with his 94.7. And then the 90s just keep on going. Reese Tatterson, Brandon Gardner, Darren Baker, Alexander Yegard, and Daniel Mora rounding out that top 8 as we move on into that top 32. Stephen Hatcher starting out ninth position with a 92.7. The 90s just keep on going all the way down to Mustafa rounding out the top 16 with a 91.3. Oliver Blyas 17th with his 91.3 as well. Russell Jones 24th position with a 90.7. And that last and final set there, 25 through 32, Yasir with his 90. And then just a few 89s on the board there. Kazuki Fukushi rounding out the top 32. And just what a round of qualifying here at Bikernieki.
This is wild. I thought 88 was going to be high, but 89 to get into the top 32. That is just insane. You guys do not want to miss battles. Please stay tuned for when we start battles, because I think it's going to be one more time city, and our judges have a lot of work cut out for them this afternoon.
Absolutely. I really think it's just going to come down to who can make the least amount of mistakes. I mean, as you saw in these qualifying runs, just near perfect runs over and over and over again from these drivers. And if they can continue that, man, as you said, just one more time city.
One more time city here at Riga.
Absolutely. But thank you, everybody, to those of you that tuned in today for qualifying here at round 2. We are going to take just a 1 hour break. So it's 1:56 p.m. for me right now on the East Coast. And we'll go live for top 32 at the top of the hour in an hour. So at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope everybody tunes in for that because, again, it is going to be just absolutely exciting. And we hope to see y'all there.